What do you mean? Is she okay?
I lost my job on a Tuesday night. Daniel, we're letting you go, my manager said. I blinked. You're joking. I wish I was, he replied. Budget cuts. I just got promoted, I said. You shook my hand. He sighed. It's not personal. It feels personal, I said. I'm sorry, he added. HR will email you. The call ended. I stared at my phone and whispered, okay, even though no one was there. An hour later, my chest started to hurt. I told myself it was stress. I told myself to breathe. Then my vision blurred. I grabbed my phone and called my mother. Mom, I said, I think something's wrong. She paused. What do you mean? My chest hurts. I can't breathe right. Did you see a doctor? No, I said. I just lost my job. She sighed. Daniel, I can't deal with this right now. I need help, I said. You always say that, she replied. I think I need the hospital. Call an ambulance, she said. I have guests. The line went dead. I stared at the wall and laughed once. I called my father next. Dad, I said, I need you. What happened now? He asked. I lost my job, I said. And I'm not feeling well. You should have saved money, he replied. My chest hurts. Stress, he said. Men deal with it. I think it's serious. Don't be dramatic, he snapped. I warned you about that job. I just need somewhere to stay, I said. Silence. Daniel, he said slowly, I can't take on your problems. I'm your son. And you're an adult, he replied. Figure it out. The call ended. I sat on the floor and pressed my palm against my chest. I called my brother. Hey, he said. What's up? I'm in trouble, I said. Can I crash at your place? For how long? I don't know, I admitted. He exhaled loudly. I've got my own family. I won't be in the way. You always say that, he replied. I just lost my job. That's rough, he said. But I can't help. Why not? Because I don't want the stress, he said. The line went quiet. I called my sister. She answered with, make it quick. I'm not okay, I said. What happened? I lost my job. I might need help. She laughed. Again? I'm serious, I said. You always mess things up, she replied. I'm not fixing it. I'm scared, I admitted. That's not my problem, she said. The call ended. I stared at my phone. I scrolled through my contacts and realized there was no one left. My chest hurt more. I whispered, don't pass out. I thought about calling again. I didn't. I sat there listening to the hum of the fridge and the sound of my own breathing. I said out loud, they really did it. No one answered. I checked my bank app. 2 digits. I laughed again, louder this time. I texted my mother. I'm really scared. No reply. I texted my father. I need help. Seen. No response. I texted my brother. Please. Nothing. I dropped the phone and pressed my face into my hands. I said, I trusted you. The room stayed quiet. My chest slowly stopped hurting, but the emptiness didn't. I stood up and packed a small bag. I said to myself, you don't have a home anymore. I locked the door behind me and stood in the hallway. I waited for my phone to ring. It didn't. I realized something then. I wasn't abandoned by strangers. I was abandoned by blood. And no one was coming to save me. I stood in front of my parents' house with my bag on my shoulder and my pride already gone. Just knock, I told myself. I knocked. The door opened, and my mother frowned. Why are you here? I need help, I said. She looked past me, like she hoped I would disappear. We talked already. That was on the phone, I said. This is different. It's not, she replied. I just need a place to stay for a few days. She crossed her arms. Daniel, you can't keep doing this. Doing what? I asked. Asking my family? My father walked into the hallway. What's going on? He's here, my mother said. My father sighed. Of course he is. Dad, I said, please. Please what? He asked. Please clean up another mess? I lost my job, I said. You always lose something, he replied. I'm sick, I added. He laughed once. You're dramatic. I thought seeing me would change things, I said. My mother shook her head. You should have planned better. I did plan, I said. Life happened. That's your excuse every time, my father said. I stepped inside before they could stop me. I slept in my car last night. My mother's eyes widened. You shouldn't tell people that. I'm not people, I said. I'm your son. My father pointed at the door. You're not staying here. Why? I asked. Because I won't let you bring chaos into this house, he said. What chaos? I said. I'm quiet. I just need a couch. You need to learn, he replied. Learn what? I asked. How to be alone. Yes, he said. Maybe that'll finally teach you. My chest tightened. You're really doing this? My mother said, Daniel, please don't make a scene. I'm not, I said. I'm begging. My brother walked in from the kitchen. What's all the noise? He wants to stay, my father said. My brother laughed. Here? No way. Why not? I asked him. Because last time you stayed anywhere, it ended badly, he said. That was years ago, I replied. And you're still the same, he said. I've changed, I said. You say that every time, he replied. My sister walked down the stairs slowly. She looked at me like I was something stuck to her shoe. Why is he here? She asked. I need help, I said. She tilted her head. Again? I didn't come to be mocked, I said. You came because you failed, she replied. I swallowed. That's not fair. She shrugged. Truth doesn't care about fair. I just need a few days, I said. She looked at my parents. If you let him stay, he'll never leave. That's not true, I said. She stepped closer. You always say that, and then you mess everything up. My mother whispered, she has a point. I felt something crack. You're all saying this like I'm not standing here. My father said, we're being honest. No, I said. You're being cruel. My sister crossed her arms. Cruel is expecting us to fix your life. I'm not asking you to fix it, I said. Just help me survive. She stared at me and said, "You're not our responsibility anymore." That line hit harder than anything else. I remembered her holding my hand when we were kids. I remembered her crying when I left for my first job. I looked at her and said, "When did I stop being your brother?" She didn't answer. My father opened the door wider. "You need to go." "Dad," I said softly, "please." He avoided my eyes. "I won't repeat myself." My mother said, "We love you, but…" I cut her off. "No, you don't." She gasped. "How dare you?" "If you loved me," I said, "you wouldn't do this." My brother looked uncomfortable. "Maybe you should leave." I nodded slowly. "Okay." I stepped outside. My mother said, "Don't make this harder than it is." I turned around. "You already did." The door closed. I stood there listening to the lock click. I laughed quietly. Wow. I walked down the street with my bag dragging behind me. I said to myself, "That was your last try." I checked my phone. No messages. I sat on a bench and replayed every word they said. I wondered what I did to deserve it. I wondered if I was always this easy to throw away. I ended up under a bridge that night. I lay on cold concrete and hugged my bag. I whispered, "So this is it." Cars passed above me. No one knew I was there. And I finally understood something. Survival wasn't about feelings anymore. It was about staying alive. Rock bottom doesn't scream. It whispers. My stomach made that sound first. I sat on the curb outside a closed diner and said, "Okay, calm down," like my body could hear me. It didn't listen. I checked my pockets again. Nothing. I laughed under my breath. Of course. A man walking by looked at me and then looked away fast. I muttered, "Don't worry. I won't ask." The city moved like I didn't exist. I stood up and said, "You're still here. That counts." No one answered. I walked until my legs shook. I stopped outside a small grocery store and stared through the glass. A cashier was laughing with a customer. I whispered, "Must be nice." I stepped inside and pretended to browse. An employee said, "Can I help you?" "I'm just looking," I replied. My voice cracked. He nodded and walked away. I picked up a loaf of bread and put it back. I picked it up again. A woman behind me said, "You gonna buy that?" I shook my head. "No." She frowned. "Then move." I moved. Outside, I sat against the wall and pressed my forehead to my knees. I said, "You're invisible now." The words felt real. A memory hit me. My mother saying, "You'll always have a home." I scoffed. Liar. I felt anger rise, hot and sharp. "At least be honest," I muttered. Someone cleared their throat. "You okay?" a voice asked. I looked up. An older man stood there holding a paper bag. "I'm fine," I said too fast. He nodded slowly. "You don't look fine." "That's just my face," I replied. He smiled a little. "Name's Marcus." "Daniel," I said. He held out the bag. "Sandwich." "Water." I stared at it. "Why?" He shrugged. "Because you look hungry." "I don't have money," I said. "I didn't ask for it," he replied. I hesitated. "What's the catch?" "No catch," he said. Eat. I took the bag with shaking hands. Thank you, I said. Sit, he said, pointing to the curb. We sat. I ate like the food might vanish. Marcus said, slow down. I shook my head. It's been a while. He didn't ask how long. That confused me. After a minute he said, you got family? I laughed. Yeah. He raised an eyebrow. That funny? They don't talk to me, I said. He nodded. That happens. They walked away, I added. Still happens, he replied. I swallowed. Why doesn't it hurt you? He looked at the street. Because I survived it. I stared at him. How? One day at a time, he said. That sounds fake, I said. He chuckled. It is. But it works. I finished the sandwich. Thank you, I said again. He stood up. You sleep safe tonight? I hesitated. I'll figure it out. He handed me a small card. Shelter address. Opens at 6. I took it. Why are you helping me? He said, because someone once helped me. Then he walked away. I sat there holding the card. I felt angry. Not at him. At my family. They had everything, I whispered. And still said no. I stood and kicked the curb. I wasn't asking for luxury. I walked until night came. The shelter was full. A worker said, sorry. I nodded. It's okay. Outside, I sat on the steps. I said, of course it is. I pulled the card out again. On the back was a handwritten note. Don't disappear. I stared at it. I thought about revenge. I imagined proving them wrong. I imagined them needing me. Then I imagined letting it all go. The anger scared me. The emptiness scared me more. I curled up near a bus stop. A bus roared past. I whispered, you still breathing? I nodded to myself. I pulled the card close to my chest. I won't disappear, I said. For the first time in days, I believed it. I woke up before the sun because the cold wouldn't let me sleep anymore. I sat up and said, all right. I get it. No one answered, but I wasn't talking to the night. I was talking to myself. I walked to a public bathroom and splashed water on my face. I looked in the mirror and said, you're done begging. The guy next to me laughed. Talking to yourself? Yeah, I said. He listens better than most people. I left and walked until I saw a sign on a diner window. Help wanted. I pushed the door open. A woman behind the counter said, you here to eat or stare? I'm here to work, I said. She looked me up and down. You got experience? I can learn, I replied. She crossed her arms. Can you show up on time? Yes. Can you shut up and do what you're told? I nodded. Yes. She sighed. Name? Daniel. I'm Rosa, she said. You start today. Don't be late. I smiled. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, she said. You mess up, you're gone. That's fair, I said. She slid an apron across the counter. I held it like it was something fragile. The cook yelled, who's the new guy? That's him, Rosa said. Try not to scare him off. The cook snorted. I give him a week. I tied the apron and said quietly, watch me. The first shift was brutal. Move faster, Rosa said. Yes, I replied. You missed a spot, she snapped. I'll fix it, I said. The cook shouted, order up. I ran. I spilled coffee on myself and didn't curse. A customer said, you're slow. I'm sorry, I said. I meant it. By the end of the shift, my legs burned. Rosa handed me some cash. You earned it. I stared at it. I did. She raised an eyebrow. Don't get soft. I walked outside and counted the bills. I laughed. I earned this. That night, I bought cheap food and ate it slowly. I said, you're working now. The next morning, I showed up early. Rosa noticed. You're early. I didn't want to be late, I said. She nodded. Good. Days turned into weeks. You're improving, the cook said one night. Thanks, I replied. Don't thank me, he said. Just keep up. I did. I stopped checking my phone. I stopped hoping. I focused. One night, Marcus showed up. He sat at the counter and smiled. Look at you. I got a job, I said. I see that, he replied. You look tired. I'm proud, I said. He nodded. Good combination. Rosa asked, friend of yours? Yes, I said. He helped me. Marcus said he did the work. After my shift, Marcus said, you stopped asking for them, didn't you? I nodded. I stopped waiting. He smiled. That's growth. I rented a small room. The landlord said, cash only. That's fine, I said. He looked surprised. You sure? Yes, I said. The room smelled old, but it was mine. I sat on the bed and said, this is enough. I started saving. $5 felt like 50. Rosa said one morning, you're reliable. I blinked. I am? Yes, she said. Don't ruin it. I smiled. I thought about my family less. When I did, it didn't hurt as much. I worked extra shifts. The cook said, you're not quitting, are you? No, I said. I'm building. One night, Rosa handed me an envelope. What's this? I asked. Bonus, she said. You earned it. My hands shook. Thank you, I said. She waved me off. Don't waste it. I walked home and looked at the city lights. I whispered, I didn't disappear. I sat on my bed and held the envelope. I thought about my father's voice. Figure it out. I nodded. I did. I lay back and smiled. For the first time, I didn't need them. And I knew someday, they would notice. Success didn't erase the past. It sharpened it. Rosa said, you're getting better at this. I replied, I'm trying. She shook her head. No. You're doing. I nodded and kept working. The diner felt smaller now, like I had outgrown it. Marcus noticed. You walk different, he said one night. How? I asked. Like you know where you're going, he replied. I laughed. I barely know tomorrow. He smiled. That's still progress. I saved money. I paid rent on time. I bought new shoes. I said to myself, you're not surviving anymore. One afternoon, Rosa said, you ever think about managing? I froze. Me? She shrugged. Why not? I thought about my father's voice. You always mess things up. I swallowed. I can learn. Rosa nodded. That's what you said last time. It worked. I worked harder. I stopped doubting every compliment. I stopped apologizing for existing. But memory stayed. A customer complained once. You're useless, he snapped. I smiled and said, I'll fix it. Inside, I heard my sister. You always fail. I fixed it anyway. That night, I lay in bed and said, they still live in your head. The room didn't answer. I opened my phone. No missed calls. I didn't know how to feel about that. Weeks passed. Marcus said, you look tired. I'm building something, I replied. He nodded. Just don't build it on hate. I didn't answer. Then my phone buzzed. A message from my mother. Hey Daniel. How are you? I stared at the screen. That's it? I whispered. No apology. No regret. Just hey. Another message came in. My brother. You around? I laughed once, sharp and bitter. My sister texted next. Long time. I sat on my bed and said, wow. Marcus called. You sound quiet, he said. They texted me, I replied. He paused. How do you feel? Everything, I said. Anger. Confusion. Satisfaction. I texted my mother back. I'm fine. She replied fast. Good. We might need to talk. I closed my eyes. I remembered standing at their door. I remembered the lock clicking. I said out loud, now you want to talk. Rosa noticed I was distracted. You okay? She asked. Yes, I said. She studied me. That wasn't convincing. My family reached out, I admitted. She nodded slowly. That explains it. They didn't apologize, I said. Do they ever? She asked. No, I replied. Marcus said later, you don't owe them access. I looked at my phone again. Another message. Can you call me? My father wrote. I laughed. Now you need my voice. I typed. What's wrong? He replied. We're having some trouble. I leaned back and stared at the ceiling. Trouble. That word used to belong to me. I said, funny how that works. Marcus asked, you gonna help them? I don't know, I said. They didn't help me. He said, power feels strange when you earn it. I nodded. It does. I didn't reply that night. I went to work early. Rosa said, you're quiet. I'm thinking, I replied. About what? Who I am now, I said. She smiled. That's a good problem. That evening, my mother texted again. We're proud of you. I stared at the words. I whispered, since when? I typed nothing. I remembered her saying she had guests. I remembered my father saying figure it out. I figured it out. Without them. My brother texted. Can you help us out? Just for a bit. I laughed softly. Just for a bit, I said. That phrase used to destroy me. Now it didn't. I put the phone down. I went to sleep calm. The power had shifted. And they felt it. I met them at a small cafe because I didn't want them in my space. My mother arrived first and said, you look well. I replied, I am. She smiled like that fixed something. My father sat down and said, thanks for coming. You asked, I said. My brother avoided my eyes. My sister checked her phone. My mother said, things have been hard. I nodded. I heard. My father cleared his throat. The business didn't work out. You warned me about planning, I said calmly. He frowned. That's different. How? I asked. My brother said, bills piled up. I replied, you said everyone has stress. He shifted in his seat. My mother said, your father's health isn't great. I said, you told me to call an ambulance. Her lips pressed together. My sister finally looked at me. We didn't expect this. I leaned back. Neither did I. My father said, we're not blaming you. I didn't say you were, I replied. My mother said, families help each other. I smiled slightly. That's what I thought. Silence spread across the table. My brother said, we just need some support. I asked, like a couch? He swallowed. My sister said, that's not fair. I replied, truth doesn't care about fair. She froze. My father said, you're holding on to the past. I nodded. Because it taught me. My mother whispered, we did our best. I said, so did I. My brother leaned forward. Are you enjoying this? I shook my head. No. Then help us, he said. I replied, I'm listening first. My father said, we didn't mean to hurt you. You meant to protect yourselves, I said. My mother's eyes filled. We were scared. So was I replied. Another long pause. The waitress asked, anything else? No, I said. She left. My sister said quietly, we didn't think you'd survive. I met her eyes. Neither did I. My brother whispered, I'm sorry. I nodded. That's new. My father said nothing. I stood up. I won't abandon you. Relief flashed across their faces. But, I added, I won't erase what happened. My mother asked, what does that mean? It means boundaries, I said. My father looked confused. We're family. I replied, and I'm an adult. I left some cash on the table. My sister asked, is that it? For today, I said. I walked out feeling light. Karma didn't slam doors. It knocked softly. And this time, I chose how wide to open it. They didn't apologize together. They couldn't. My mother went first. She called me early in the morning and said, do you have time to talk? I replied, I'm listening. She took a breath. I've been thinking a lot. I'm sure you have, I said. She ignored that. I didn't handle things well. I waited. She added, I was overwhelmed. I said, so was I. She went quiet. I thought you'd be okay, she said. I closed my eyes. You thought wrong. I didn't mean to abandon you, she whispered. I said, you did. That's not fair, she replied quickly. I'm not trying to be fair, I said. I'm trying to be honest. She started crying. I'm your mother. I answered, that's why it hurt. She said, I'm sorry you felt alone. I laughed softly. You're sorry I felt it, not that you caused it. She didn't deny it. I don't know what you want from me, she said. I don't want anything, I replied. That confused her more than anger would have. We hung up without saying goodbye. My brother texted next. Can we talk man to man? I replied, call me. He sounded tired. I should have helped you. Yes, I said. I had a lot going on, he added. So did I replied. He sighed. You always say that. Because it was true, I said. He said, I didn't think it would get that bad. You didn't think about me at all, I replied. That's not fair, he said. I repeated his words from before. I didn't want the stress. He went quiet. I was scared, he admitted. I said, so you chose comfort? Yes, he said softly. I respected that honesty more than excuses. I'm sorry, he added. I nodded even though he couldn't see it. I hear you. Does that mean we're good? He asked. I answered, it means I'm not angry. That's it, he asked. That's not nothing, I replied. He didn't push. My sister waited the longest. She asked to meet. We sat across from each other at a park. She said, you look different. I am, I replied. She crossed her arms. I didn't expect you to bounce back. I didn't bounce, I said. I crawled. She looked away. I was harsh. You were honest, I replied. That's worse. She frowned. Why worse? Because it meant you meant it, I said. She swallowed. I didn't want you depending on us. I wasn't depending, I said. I was drowning. She sighed. I didn't know. You didn't ask, I replied. She nodded slowly. I'm sorry. I studied her face. Why now? I asked. She hesitated. Because you don't need us anymore. That answer hit harder than an insult. I appreciate the honesty, I said. She asked, can we start over? I thought about that. I said, we can start different. She didn't smile, but she nodded. My father was last. He didn't call. He showed up at the diner. Rosa looked at me and raised an eyebrow. He's with me, I said. My father sat down stiffly. You're busy, he said. I work, I replied. He cleared his throat. I should have done better. I waited. He frowned. I taught you to be strong. You taught me to be alone, I replied. That's not what I meant, he said. Intent doesn't change impact, I answered. He looked uncomfortable. I didn't know how to help. You didn't try, I said. He clenched his jaw. I'm saying I'm sorry. I nodded. I hear that. Is that forgiveness? He asked. I looked at him. It's acknowledgement. That's not the same, he said. No, I replied. It's not. He stood up. You're punishing us. I shook my head. I'm protecting myself. He stared at me, then nodded once and left. After work, Marcus asked, how'd it go? They apologized, I said. And, he asked. I forgave them, I replied. He smiled. You sound calm. I am, I said. Forgiveness isn't access. That's a hard lesson, he said. I learned it the hard way, I replied. That night, I sat alone in my room. I said out loud, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means not letting the past control me. It means choosing peace without erasing truth. I forgave them for me. Not for them. And that was enough. I didn't call them. I invited them to listen. My mother spoke first. We're trying to understand where we stand. I said, you stand outside my life, not outside my care. She paused. What does that mean? It means I won't abandon you, I replied. But I won't belong to you either. My brother said, that sounds cold. I shook my head even though they couldn't see it. It's calm. My sister said, so you're punishing us? I answered, no. I'm choosing myself. My father asked, is this because of pride? I replied, no. It's because of survival. They were quiet. I continued. I can help with small things. Advice. A ride. Information. My mother said, what about money? I said, no. My brother said, what about staying with you? I said, no. My sister snapped, so what good are you then? I smiled softly. I'm not here to be useful. That shocked them. My father said, families sacrifice. So do individuals, I replied. I've done my share. My mother whispered, you've changed. Yes, I said. I had to. She said, this hurts. I answered, it used to hurt me too. My brother asked, is there anything we can do? I said, respect this. My sister laughed nervously. You're serious. I've never been more serious, I replied. The call ended awkwardly. No yelling. No crying. Just silence. I sat back and breathed. Marcus asked later, you okay? I'm free, I said. He smiled. That's different from happy. I know, I replied. But it's better. Rosa said, you look lighter. I am, I said. I stopped checking my phone. I stopped waiting for approval. I slept better. When my mother texted again, I replied kindly but briefly. When my brother complained, I listened but didn't fix. When my sister tested boundaries, I held them. They were shocked. They were confused. They adjusted. And I didn't feel guilty. I walked home one night and said out loud, you did it. I wasn't angry. I wasn't desperate. I was steady. I chose myself. And nothing felt more powerful than that. I wake up early now, not because I have to, but because I want to. I sit on the edge of my bed and say, another day. The room is quiet, but it doesn't feel empty. It feels earned. Marcus once asked me, do you miss them? I told him, I miss who I thought they were. That truth hasn't changed. Rosa said last week, you've grown. I replied, I had no choice. She smiled. Those are the strongest people. I think about that a lot. I walk to work without rushing. I drink my coffee slowly. No one is waiting to tell me I'm not enough. My phone buzzes sometimes. My mother sends updates. Hope you're well. I reply, I am. Nothing more. My brother calls when things break. I listen. I don't fix. My sister keeps her distance. That's fine. I stopped trying to be understood. I just am. One night, my father texts. Proud of you. I stare at it for a long time. I whisper, I know. I don't reply. Not out of anger. Out of peace. I remember the night under the bridge. I remember counting coins. I remember begging. That man feels far away. But I don't forget him. He saved me. Marcus once said, you survived because you adapted. I said, no. I survived because I accepted reality. There's a difference. I don't chase love anymore. I build it. I don't beg for space. I claim it. When people ask about my family, I say, we're distant. That's all. No drama. No story. Just truth. I walk past that old diner sometimes. The one where hunger whispered. I stop and breathe. I say, you didn't disappear. I rent a better place now. Nothing fancy. Mine. I sit on the couch and stretch my arms. I say, this is enough. I don't need revenge. I don't need apologies. I needed myself. The man they left behind is still here. Stronger. Quieter. Free. And no one can take that from me.